I live in a small but cozy one-bedroom apartment. When you walk in, the first room you see is the hall. There are some pictures on the walls, and there's a blue rug on the floor. In the corner, there's a wooden table with a vase of flowers on it. My favorite room in the apartment is the living room. I spend a lot of my time here, lying on the sofa watching movies and TV series. If I'm very tired after work, I sometimes fall asleep on the sofa. My bedroom is simple but comfortable. On one side of the room, there's a large bed and a bedside table. I have a firm mattress because I don't sleep very well with a soft one. On the other side of the room, there's a chest of drawers and a wardrobe with a long mirror on the door. There's only one window in my bedroom. I chose dark curtains for it so the sun doesn't wake me up too early in the morning. My kitchen has all the usual appliances: a fridge, a freezer, a stove, a kettle, a microwave, and I also have an espresso machine. In the morning, I often sit on a stool in the kitchen while I drink my coffee. The last room in my apartment is the bathroom. It has a shower and a toilet, of course, and there's also a washing machine and a sink with a small cabinet above it. This is where I keep my toothbrush and toothpaste.
I live with my family in a large house near the sea. At the front of the house, we have a garage and a small garden with a flower bed. We also have a back garden, and this is where my children like to play in the summer. In the back garden, there's a patio with a table and chairs on it. There are lots of trees in the garden, so I can sit in the shade when it's hot and watch the children play football on the lawn. Our house has 2 floors. Downstairs, there's a kitchen, a living room, a dining room, a bathroom, and a guest bedroom. Upstairs, there are 2 more bedrooms, another bathroom, and a study. We also have an attic, but we don't use it. Because our house is quite big, it sometimes gets cold during the winter, even with the central heating turned on. I work from home 3 days a week, so the room I spend most time in is the study. It's a beautiful room with a view of the garden. Sometimes our house is messy, but my office is always tidy. There isn't a lot of furniture, just a desk and an office chair. I have a monitor and a printer on the desk, and in the desk drawers, I keep some pens and paper. Above the desk, there's a shelf with some books and a plant on it. On the wall, there's a clock and a map of the world. During the summer, I bring a fan into the study with me, but during the winter, I bring a heater.
I live with my husband in an apartment in the south of the city. We're on the second floor, so we don't need to use the elevator. When we're at home, we like to relax in the living room. It has large windows, so there's plenty of natural light during the day. The walls are beige and the curtains are light blue. Against one wall, there is a bookcase filled with our favorite novels. I often take a book from the bookcase and read it on the couch. On the other side of the room, We have a wooden dining table with 4 chairs. There's a tall lamp next to the table. It has a nice warm light, which creates a homely atmosphere in the evenings. Our bathroom is very simple. On one side of the room, there's a shower and a sink with a single faucet. On the other side, there are some shelves for towels and a plant to give the room some color. We have 2 bedrooms, one for us and one for guests. Our bedroom has a large closet to store clothes and shoes. Next to the closet, there's a small vanity where I do my makeup. We have an old yellow armchair in the corner of the room. It doesn't look very attractive, but it's incredibly comfortable. Above the bed, there are some framed photos from our vacations. Each time we go on vacation, we buy a magnet to put on the door of our fridge in the kitchen. Our kitchen is the smallest room in the apartment. It's fine for cooking simple meals, but when we have guests for dinner, it's easier to get takeout.
My partner and I moved to a house in the countryside last year. We wanted to leave the city and find somewhere with a garden for our dogs. We now spend a lot of time gardening. We have a shed for our tools, a greenhouse to grow vegetables in, and a bench where we can sit down and relax during the summer. Our kitchen is modern and spacious. We have everything we need to cook and keep our food fresh, including a fridge freezer, an oven, a microwave, and a food processor. There are drawers for cutlery and utensils, and a lot of cupboards for storing food and cooking equipment. There is a dishwasher next to the door to the garden, but we often wash our dishes in the sink instead. In one corner of the kitchen, there are some boxes for recycling and a rubbish bin for general waste. And on the floor in another corner, there are our dogs' baskets and their bowls. In our downstairs bathroom, we have both a shower and a bathtub. Between them, there is a heated towel rail, so our towels are warm for us after a shower or bath. There's a bath mat on the floor to dry our feet. The toilet is in the corner of the room. There's a toilet brush on the floor beside it, and a toilet paper holder attached to the wall. I really like our living room. There's a sofa, of course, a big TV attached to the wall, 2 lamps, and an old armchair where I sit and read the news. Next to the armchair, we have a fireplace, which helps a lot in the winter. Our bedroom is upstairs. It's a lovely room, but we don't spend much time in it during the day. It has a wardrobe with a shoe rack inside, a chest of drawers, and a dressing table. It also has an ensuite bathroom, which is very convenient for us. I rent a room in a shared student house. There are 5 bedrooms, 1 living room, 1 kitchen, and, here's the problem, only 1 bathroom. It's a good place to live while I'm studying, and the rent is very low. My room is quite messy. When you enter, you see a light switch on your left and a long mirror. On the back of the door, there are some hooks to hang coats and jackets. Next to the mirror, there is a chest of drawers for my clothes. I have a single bed with 2 pillows, a white sheet, and a blue duvet. There are some posters on the wall above my bed. In front of the window, I have a desk and a computer chair. This is where I usually read and study. There are 2 sockets under the desk, so I can plug in my laptop and phone chargers. Because I don't have a lot of space in my bedroom, I have to store some of my things in boxes under the bed. Our living room is clean and modern, but it's too small for 5 people. There is only space for 3 people on the sofa, so 2 people have to sit on the carpet if we watch a film together. We keep the Wi-Fi router in the living room, so everyone has a good internet connection in their bedrooms. The kitchen is very well organized. We each have a private cupboard and a shelf in the fridge to store our food. We share all the kitchen appliances and utensils. On the kitchen worktop, we have a toaster and a toasted sandwich maker, a kettle, a microwave, a chopping board, a bread bin, and a rice cooker. The only problem with the house is the bathroom. For 2 people, it would be fine, but for 5 people, it's a disaster. There isn't space in the cabinet for all our toiletries, and there isn't space to hang all our towels. I live in a flat near the town centre. It's on the ground floor and has 4 rooms, an entrance hall, a bedroom, a bathroom, and an open-plan kitchen and living room. The flat was already furnished when I moved in 2 years ago. In the bedroom, I have a double bed with 4 pillows, a duvet, and a blanket. Next to the bed, there's a bookcase on one side and a bedside table and lamp on the other. I like to read in bed before I go to sleep, so I have everything I need. I have an open-plan kitchen and living room, which means I have one big space where I cook, watch TV, and relax. The bedroom and hall have soft grey carpets, but the kitchen area and living room have wooden floors. In the middle of the living room, there's a sofa bed with some cushions on it. When I have guests to stay, this is where they sleep. In front of the sofa bed, there's a small coffee table. There are usually some coasters and magazines on the coffee table, and a remote control for the TV. The room gets a lot of natural light because it has 2 large windows. In the kitchen area, there are lots of cupboards to store pots, pans, and cooking utensils. I have a cooker and also a microwave, but I rarely use it. To the left of the cooker, there's a sink. It's full of dirty plates at the moment. Under the sink, there are 2 bins, one for general waste and one for recycling. My kitchen isn't big, but there's enough space to cook a good meal.
We live with our kids in a comfortable house in the suburbs. The house has 2 floors. Upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, and a spare room that we use as a home gym. The master bedroom, where my husband and I sleep, has a big window and a small balcony too. Downstairs, we have a kitchen, a living room, a utility room for our washing machine and tumble dryer, a study, and a playroom for the kids. We also have a backyard and a garage. In the garage, We keep our car, our bikes, some tools, and some sports equipment. We're good friends with our neighbors, who also have young kids, so during the summer, we often invite them to have lunch with us in our backyard. The heart of our house is the living room. We spend our evenings together here as a family. There are 2 couches in the center of the room with a coffee table between them. We sometimes play board games and card games here. In one corner of the room, we have a piano and a stool. On the floor next to the piano, there is a basket for toys. At the other end of the room, we have another sofa with some cushions on it. This is where we sit and watch movies together. I cook most of our meals, which means I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. We have a speaker on the countertop so I can listen to music while I'm cooking. We keep some appliances on the countertop too. There's a toaster, a blender, and a coffee machine. Last year, we bought a new stove and a new fridge for our kitchen, but we still don't have a dishwasher. I hope we'll buy one next year.
I live with my family on the 6th floor of a large block of flats. We usually take the lift from the ground floor to the 6th floor because it's a long walk up the stairs. There are 5 rooms in our flat: a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms. Our 2 children share a bedroom. Their room is full of toys, teddy bears, and children's books. They sleep in a bunk bed at the moment, but they are growing fast and will soon need bigger beds. Next to the bunk bed, there is a window with blue curtains, and below it there is a radiator and a laundry basket for dirty clothes. On the other side of the room, there is a wardrobe. The walls are covered with posters and pictures that our children have drawn. In the living room, we don't have a lot of furniture, only a sofa and a small table beside it. Opposite the sofa, we have a big TV and some video game consoles. There are 2 windows in the living room. We used to have curtains, but now we have blinds instead. On the floor, there's a beautiful red rug. The bathroom is quite big. Against one wall, there's a basin with a single tap. There's a mirror above the basin and a shelf where we keep a bar of soap and our toothbrush holder. The bath is on the other side of the room. It also has a shower and a shower curtain so water doesn't get on the floor. Our kitchen is long and narrow, and it has bright ceiling lights. We normally eat our meals together here. There are lots of cupboards in our kitchen, one for cups and mugs, one for glasses, and another for plates and bowls. At the far end of the kitchen, there's a sink. There are some tea towels on a hook next to it to dry the plates. And on the wall above those tea towels, there's a clock. I live in a typical English house in a quiet road where nothing extraordinary ever happens. In fact, all the houses in Privet Drive are almost identical, each with a perfectly tidy front garden, a driveway, and a roof with red tiles and a little chimney. The house I live in belongs to my uncle and aunt. It has 2 floors and 4 or 5 bedrooms, depending on how you count them. There's my uncle and aunt's bedroom, the guest bedroom, my cousin's first bedroom, my cousin's second bedroom for his old or broken toys, and my room, which is really a cupboard under the stairs. My room is the perfect place for a vacuum cleaner, broom, or dustpan and brush to live. It's not ideal for a 10-year-old boy, though. It's dark and narrow, and the ceiling is so low that I can't stand up properly. When people walk up and down the stairs, it's very noisy, and dust falls onto my bed. I'm afraid the bed is the only piece of furniture in the room. There isn't space for a wardrobe or a desk or a chest of drawers even. I share the room with some spiders, so I have some company at least, but I'd love to have a real pet when I'm older. Maybe a bird. I don't spend much time in the other parts of the house. Downstairs, there is a living room, a dining room, a kitchen, and a hall. I only go into them when I have chores to do, like washing the dishes or sweeping the floor. I also have to collect the letters that come through the letterbox and give them to my uncle, who likes to read them from his armchair next to the fireplace. The strange thing is that today, for the first time, there was a letter addressed to me in my cupboard under the stairs. But who could it be from?
There's only one problem with the 22-bedroom mansion I built in California. I don't have time to enjoy it. This year, I think I've only spent a day or two in the rooftop pool, and I haven't used the spa or helicopters at all. Where have I been? Well, there was the ski season and Davos, and then I had to take the yacht out to the Mediterranean. I couldn't miss Cannes or the Monaco Grand Prix, could I? There are 45 rooms in my house, not including the annexes, garages, or stables. My main kitchen is more or less the same size as my tennis court. It needs to be spacious, so the 12 chefs have room to move around while they're cooking. In the middle of the kitchen, there's a staircase, which leads down to the first wine cellar. The second wine cellar, where I keep the Romane Conti, is harder to find. You can only access it through a secret door next to the Vermeer painting in the Grand Hall. The first floor of my house is mainly for visiting dignitaries and other people I invite to stay. There are 12 separate guest suites with living rooms, bedrooms, and ensuite bathrooms. In the atrium, there's a life-size model of the Trevi Fountain. I sometimes throw solid gold coins in it as little presents for my guests. The second floor is reserved for me. Like the rest of the house, it has Carrara marble floors, but set into the walls, there's a floor-to-ceiling aquarium. I've already mentioned the main kitchen and grand hall. On the ground floor, you'll also find the fitness center and spa. The cinema used to be on this floor, but I wanted to extend it, so I moved it to the basement, between the games room and the bowling alley. I know I haven't said anything about the garden, but to tell the truth, I've been depressed about it since I had to close the menagerie. I can't remember the last time I played a round of golf or just went for an afternoon stroll through the labyrinth.